Welcome back to Mecha March Madness, where I'm spending the rest of the month talking about all things related to Sonic robots. Because goodness gracious does this boy have a lot of robot copies. He has so many robot copies that even his robot copy has a robot copy. Yeah, today we're going to be talking about one of the weirdest variations of Metal Sonic. Or is it a variation? Is it a copy? Maybe it's a transformation, or maybe it's a robot from a separate line altogether. Whatever the case may be, we'll be talking about all of it as we dissect the strangest variation we've seen so far. But I'm getting a little ahead of myself because we first need to talk about Sonic the Fighters, or Sonic Champions. It's a Sonic fighting game. That idea sounded a lot weirder back before there were Smash Brothers or GBA goodness, but truth be told, it wasn't even the weirdest Sega fighting game back in the day. Regardless, it did garner something of a cult following over the years, and it's even managed to be re-released a couple of times. And when it was, the devs went and included a long-lost Sonic character, Honey the Cat, who is in turn a reference to a different fighter, but you already know all that story because, as it turns out, one of the most obscure Sonic characters is nowadays showing up far more often than other characters that were far more prominent from back in the day. Yeah, it's a weird franchise, but this video is not about Honey the Cat. She is not the only interesting character that started from fighters. There is another that's even more obscure than a character that spent decades hidden in code, and ironically, it's the very first character you see when the game starts up. That being oh shoot, there he goes. Yeah, that's it. That's Rocket Metal. That's all you see of him in this game. But these few short seconds were enough for fans to latch on to this angry blue jet. And the more I look at him, the more I see why. There's a lot happening with this model. One of my patrons, Fishflop, said it best when we were doing a poll about what Sonic robot to cover today. And I have to agree, it's somehow both hilariously stupid and awesome all at the same time. I mean, they could make this look a little bit more badass if they shifted some proportions around, as a lot of fan art has shown us. But at the same time, that goofy little body just kind of works for me. He's so damn precious, and yet so ridiculously intricate. Everything in this design makes a lot of sense. I love the giant exhaust on his back and the two extras on the back of his feet, and these new yellow accents on the shoes and the head. And yeah, sure, that head is huge, but that's okay, because he operates in space. He doesn't have to worry about gravity. The jet form gets him around, and I guess the body form is there to, I don't know, looks like it collects samples with those grips. Maybe Eggman's looking for emeralds in space or something like that. Maybe it works on the Death Egg too. I'm just guessing, but whatever the purpose is, I believe there's intent with everything we're seeing here. Look how detailed this transformation animation is. Every single piece of this dude is accounted for. They didn't have to do any of this. This could have just been Metal Sonic zooming around the Death Egg, but they had to give us Rocket Metal, and they had to give us this jet, and it's not a quick flash and then he changes from one form to the other. We see exactly where everything goes as he morphs. This is practically begging to be a toy. This is an intricate amount of work for a quick cameo. I mean, yeah, you look at other models, they clearly had fun designing stuff in this game, but no other robot, even the unique ones, come close to Rocket Metal in terms of design and animation. But there is one other detail I found very interesting about this robot, and that would be its name. Because even though we know him as Rocket Metal, on the side of the jet you can see the words Mecha Sonic Model No. 29. Now, name debates in Sonic, especially among the Mecha line, are nothing new. And for the longest time in my youth, I was determined to call Metal Sonic Mecha Sonic. That's what Archie called him, and I agreed. Mecha is just a cooler word. I don't remember if I just called all the robots Mecha Sonic, or maybe I switched around Mecha and Metal. I don't know what the case was. I just remember calling Metal Sonic Mecha Sonic for the longest time. Nowadays, I call him Metal, and thankfully the Mecha line of bots is still around in some form, even if it's just the occasional recognition. But even I had to admit back in the day, Rocket Metal just sounds way cooler than Mecha Sonic No. 29. Still, it's interesting to see that they use the term Mecha. As we found out over here in the West, Sonic Team made a clear distinction between Mecha Sonic and Metal Sonic. But Rocket here is clearly based more on Metal Sonic's signature design. But when you consider how diverse the Mecha Sonic models can be, is it possible that Eggman uses the Mecha line as a means to experiment with different forms and functions. And then, who knows, maybe he reincorporates the best ideas of what works from that line over into Metal Sonic. Yes, I'm in fan theory mode, you're just gonna have to deal with it. There's not a lot of meat on this bone. But really, think about it. Silver this or Robo that, at some point in time, usually at the inception, all these secondary Sonic robots that appeared in the games have gone by the name of Mecha Sonic. And as we found out last year, thanks to observant viewers, the Mecha Sonic of Sonic Adventure is being called as such because, well, it's got Mecha Godzilla textures. So yeah, this is indeed another form of Mecha Sonic. And now that I have time to reflect, I believe Mecha Sonic 3 wasn't there to be a game-accurate recreation of the one from Sonic 2, but just as a nod to all the other Mecha Sonics that came beforehand, representing that these ones were allowed to look a little different from Metal Sonic, and it was originally indeed a reference to Mecha Godzilla. It's allowed to look different because every Mecha Sonic looks different from every other Mecha Sonic, and every one of them has a different ability. Game Gear has his little clampy arms and he just bounces off of Sonic. The one from Sonic 2 has those spikes. S3K has the ability to absorb Master Emerald energy and go super. It's not that much of a stretch to imagine that Eggman has come up with 29 variations of Mecha Sonic, and this one just happens to be a jet. And yes, sure, Rocket has Metal Sonic eyes, but it also has Game Gear Mecha Sonic's clamp hands. Man, I'm saying a lot of the words Mecha and Sonic and interchanging that a whole lot, so I hope all of that made sense, because I'm not sure it did to me. And before any of you take this too seriously, I am aware that the canon of Sonic Fighters is not to be taken super seriously. There's at least 4 different sequel Death Eggs, and I'm not sure any of them are canon. And this game also has 8 Chaos Emeralds, so don't think too deeply about it, but also I'm gonna think too much about it because this is a lot of fun. I like the idea that Eggman has been working on 29 different versions of Mecha Sonic, and this one just happens to be a transforming space jet. Maybe it's prototyping a new method of potentially surpassing Sonic's speed, but currently Eggy can only make it work by turning the robot into a jet, and it can transform so it can have a more utilitarian use, as I said earlier, by collecting space rocks or emeralds or repairing stuff. I don't know. Or maybe it was made to actually fight. That could be a possibility, because you see, the fanbase didn't just pull the name Rocket Metal out of the blue. A while ago, fans dug around in the game data, and after a little bit of hacking, it turned out there was a character selection screen for, you guessed it, Rocket Metal. And yes, he's playable, just as a reskin of Sonic, and we still don't know when this particular idea was scrapped, but the existence of the player select art tells us that yes, at some point, this elaborate robot was indeed intended to be playable. Or maybe it was just a boss, maybe it's a follow-up to Metal Sonic, or like a secret final boss that you could only get if you got Super Sonic. Maybe it was just a fun extra, who knows? There are no unique attacks for this model. Hell, if you spin dash, it just turns back into Sonic. But the mere existence of this is very cool. And I suppose I should be thankful that Rocket is even playable at all, but I'd be lying to you if I told you I wasn't at least a little disappointed that they didn't finish up this bot for the re-release of Fighters back in the PS3 360 era, or again when it was cameoed in Lost Judgment. They couldn't have taken too many resources to finish this guy up, right? But yeah, outside of that, the only other place in Sonic media that featured Rocket Metal is in a quick joke panel in Archie making fun of its giant head. I suppose it is a bit chunky, but I think you could make that jet head work. Just shift around some proportions. I mean, they kind of had something similar with Johnny. You guys remember Johnny? That is the dumbest name for a robot. Okay, alright, that's not entirely fair. You gotta leave room for newer characters. You can't just keep giving us the same crap over and over again. I do like Rush Adventure, so maybe that wouldn't have been the perfect place for Rocket Metal. But there was a perfect spot to cameo this character again, and I'm still a little miffed they didn't make that happen. Do you guys remember that Sonic racing game where the entire gimmick was transforming vehicles? You know, that game that had Metal Sonic as a playable character? Look at Metal's vehicle. You slap on a couple decals and you're good to go. That would have been a beautiful reference. Man, I've been kidding about making this video. I knew there wasn't gonna be a lot to talk about, but I genuinely love goofy stuff like this. There's so much room for fun ideas. It makes me wish the Sonic toys could branch out into some silly gimmick nonsense. You know, like TMNT or superheroes do, where they have these goofy ass toys that are this character, but now they're a Transformer. I guess, why not? Who cares? Shut up and buy it. I'd be down for that gimmick nonsense with Sonic, are you kidding me? That'd be amazing. Make a Rocket Metal toy. You don't even need it for the reference. People will buy that. It's just cute. Or you know what? Make something in the line of like those polygonal figures. Virtua Fighter got those a few years back. Give us one for Rocket Metal. I've been begging for a polygonal Sonic figure. Or a plush. All the fighters back in the day got a plush. And now they're starting to roll out some more obscure Sonic character plushes. Bring them in there. It doesn't need to be in a game. Just give us some goofy merch. Why not? Rocket Metal is a stupid toy, and I want one. And yeah, clearly other people do as well. I've been showing you a little bit of fan art here and there. I've been showing you some mods. I will, of course, be linking all of that in the description below if you want to go check out this stuff for yourself. I'm sorry there's not much else to say here, guys. I don't know what its intent was, but hey, who knows? Maybe this video can stir up some attention for this guy. Maybe it helps inspire somebody to ask the right person and give us a little bit more. Intentional or not, I think it's kind of wild that last year, when I only covered like 3 different robots, we got some follow-up information. We finally know the purpose of the Sonic Adventure Mecha Sonic. That wasn't from official sources, that was just from a Godzilla fan just pointed it out to us. And I know other people have mentioned that before, but I wasn't aware of it, and a lot of others weren't as well. And for crying out loud, Metal Knuckles, how great was it to see him again in IDW? Sure, these Sonic robots can get a little redundant in terms of the idea, but we still love that anyway. I don't care if there are plenty of other Mecha Sonics or Metal Sonics, I love all of them, and that includes Rocket Metal. So hell yeah, bring them back. Doesn't have to be all the time, doesn't have to be the main focus of a game, but it's time to stop hiding all these wonderful creations, bring out all the toys, and let the fans celebrate them. Ugh, alright. I stopped reading a script quite a while ago. I've just been rambling. I love this goofy stuff, especially the early 3D stuff. That's been one of my favorite things about gaming communities. I love that there are other people that are as passionate about this stuff as I am, so thank you guys so much for your support. Thank you for watching this video. And of course, an extra special thank you to my patrons who help support me. I do have to rely mostly on ad revenue from YouTube, but that fluctuates all the time, so these people keeping things consistent for me is a lifesaver more often than it's not, so thank you guys so much. If you're not a patron and you'll want to help support in any other extra way you can, I do release these videos early for them. They help me vote on what we're going to cover, get access to our Discord server, making some exclusive commentaries and podcasts and some other fun stuff, but yeah, I'm trying to do better about catering to the folks that help keep me alive. And let me give an extra special thank you to these folks right here. Kyle Winter, Cirrus the Skeptic, Joseph Duncan Sonic 2 Blue, John, Josh Strider, Mecha Macy number 29, Faizan Razul, Zanderoni the Painter, Trey Nobles, who was wrong about everything all the time, Hatsworth, Nick S, Tristan Trapp, Meekers, Dun Dun, Miles the Prower. Was that a reference to one of my jokes? I just realized I've read that name so many times. Oh, I love that. Jeremy Singer, Mr. Boo J, Rain, Sam Webster, Dwight Graham, Fish Flop, Lucas Lipker, The Bad Pal, Shoden, Mr. SP, Cecil the Glade, The Dark Neon, Missing No, Stefan Plotkonica, 3 Monic, Graham J. Hall, Lenny McLennyface X, Wayne is Boss, Letteric, 64 Bits, David 20 Cover Your Elbows, Ryan Rolfs, The Lumberjack, Otis Small, Ya Boy, Shifting Flesh, Mute, Trash Baphomet, Autumn from Twitter.com, That Pyra Main, Moy Saxy, Jin Sayotame, Cunning Wise, Nezin, Enerjack 5, Duchess Nicole, and Sherrod the Hedgehog. Guys, I understand how hard it is to make money. Like I said up front, YouTube is fluctuating all the time. It is never comfortable. It is never truly safe. So I do appreciate that you are using your hard-earned money to help keep me alive. So I hope I'm doing you justice. Thank you so much for your support. But yeah, I am once again spending way too much time over a silly nonsense topic, and I gotta go because we got a lot of other stuff to cover. So until next time, toot toot, Rocket Warriors.